Hey, Bill. Appreciate you taking the time. I got caught flat-footed, but the question I wanted to ask is, you spoke on WEEI today about Tom Brady looking at his options, and he decided Tampa was a better option. Why weren't the Patriots a better option for him when both Robert Kraft and Brady himself said over and over how much they wanted him to finish his career here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not going to go back and rehash all that. We've talked about that. Really, my
You've
focus right
never
now is
talked
on
about
the
it
yeah,
with
my
us.
focus is on the game here. And look, I have so much respect and appreciation for Tom and everything he did here, and for me and for our team. And we're just getting ready to compete against Tampa this week, and we're going to keep our focus on that.
But you talk about rehashing dynamics that you've already gone through. You've never done that.
Yeah, we made a statement when Tom left, and that covered it.
You surprised how well he's played? He's thrown 61 touchdown passes in 23 games down there. Won a
Tom,
Super Bowl.
yeah, Tom's a great player. Nothing surprises me that he does.
Fair enough.
Next question, Andrew Callahan, followed by Ben Volen.
Bill, I wanted to go back to the game yesterday, and I know your defense rotated a lot, and it's happened in the past, but specific to the linebackers, did Juwan Bentley miss most, if not all, the second half due to injury?
Yeah, yes.
And then what made the decision to insert Jelani into his spot in that rotation better for the defense as opposed to letting Danta play the entire second half?
Yeah, well, we've been rotating our players defensively throughout the whole year, and feel like that's the best way to manage the situation.
Yeah, so why was it best yesterday?
Yeah, for a number of reasons.
Any come to mind?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be a much longer conversation than this one. We managed them the way we felt was the best way to manage it.
Next question, Ben Volen, followed by Phil Perry.
Morning, Bill. I have one quick question about the game and one about the Bucks. Yesterday, when you guys scored the touchdown to make it 21-12, you kicked the extra point, but was there any thought there to going for two? Just curious of your thought process there.
Yeah, that's always a decision, with the 15-point game there when you score, what to do with that one. So if you kick it, it's a one-score game. If you go for it and don't make it, then it's a two-score game. So we elected to make it a one-score game.
Gotcha. And just going back to the Bucks, just seeing how well Brady's played the last few years, do you wish that you had made the Patriots a better option for him to return?
Yeah, again, I think we've already covered that.
Well, what about the way just that they're playing on offense this year? What kind of challenge do they present on offense?
Yeah, well, they have a really good team. They have very good offensive line, a lot of experience, the running back, receiver, and tight end positions. A lot of depth there. So that's a very, very talented offensive football team, very talented defensive football team, and that's why they're as good as they are. They got a lot of good players. They're well coached, and they got a really good team.
Okay, thanks.
Next question, Phil Perry, followed by Mike Reese.
Hey, Bill, the stat sheet had Mac Jones, or it had the Saints as having hit Mac Jones 11 times yesterday. When it comes to the offensive line, after having a chance to watch it again, were there communication issues yesterday, or was it something else when it came to the pass protection there?
Yeah, I mean, we threw the ball 55 times, so there was pressure on a few plays. There's some other circumstances on other ones, but I mean, overall, no, I wouldn't say it was bad. There were plenty of times that we had good time. Not every play, but when you throw the ball 55 times, it's you're going to get some pressure on the quarterback at some point. I mean, maybe not. You hope you're not, but I mean, realistically, it's a lot of passes.
Right. And Bill, just how did you see, or how would you assess how Mac responded to being hit?
Yeah, I think Max handled everything well. He's seen a lot. He's seen pressure. He's seen max pressure, max coverage. We've been in all different types of formations, empty, play actions, dropbacks, third downs. Unfortunately, we were in too many third and longs yesterday. And he's seen a lot, and I think he's dealt with all of it pretty well. But like any young player, there's a lot of room for improvement, and we need to improve just overall as a total football team, but certainly offensively.
Thanks, Bill.
Next question, Mike Reese, followed by Chair Sullivan.
Bill, with the new IR rules, or with the IR rules, 3 weeks a player can start practicing again. Do you envision Nikhil starting to practice this week?
It's a possibility. It's definitely a possibility. We'll see where he is today, but he's making progress, so we'll probably make that decision in the next 48 hours.
And when James went out, that role he fills, Brandon Bolden ended up getting probably 3 times the snaps to JJ. And I just was going to ask you, just what do you want to see from JJ to maybe have him take on a little more if you need him in that role if James isn't available?
Yeah, well, Brandon has by far the most experience of that group, and certainly in the situation we were in yesterday. So, I thought he did a good job of handling it. That's been a role that he's had in the past, and fortunately, we haven't needed him to do that very often. But when he has, he's done a pretty good job, and I thought he did a decent job for us yesterday. So, being thrown into that situation, he handled a lot of blitz responsibilities and patterns, formations, and so forth. Ended up being a passing game, most of the second half, and so I thought he handled it pretty well. But we'll see going forward.
One other quick one, if I could. On this, we know how much pride you take in special teams. You guys have a lot of players that are on the team primarily because of what they do in the kicking game. I'm curious if, as you assess this, are you happy with the personnel you have, or do you need to start considering maybe a change or two just based on results that I would imagine you're not pleased with?
Well, as I've said multiple times, I think we need to just do a better job in all areas. So offense, defense, special teams, playing, coaching, everything. We all need to do a better job. That's what we're going to try to do.
A few final questions will be Chair Sullivan and Evan Lazar.
Hey, Bill, I wanted to ask you, just as a coach who's been in the league, and you obviously developed or helped develop the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady, do you draw on any of that as you work with Mac, as you're kind of on the ground floor and helping him develop? Like, are there things that you applied with Tom that you're using with Mac Jones?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, we've had a lot of young quarterbacks in here, and Tom was, of course, Tom didn't play his rookie year, but his second year was kind of like a rookie year. But we had Rohan, we had Jimmy, we had Jacoby. We've had quite a few guys here, Cliff and Ryan Mallett and all of them, and so. I think you learn from the experience of all those guys, and each one's a little bit different. There's some common threads, and with one common thread being it's our offense. A lot of coaches may have coached multiple quarterbacks in their first season, but maybe not necessarily in the same type of offense. So I think that's really what we can rely on, is how those quarterbacks. What's given them trouble, what's been easier for them, what we need to do to kind of help the process and so forth. But yeah, of course we rely on that, sure.
I guess what made me curious is, all those other young guys you mentioned, Tom was always ahead of them, like Tom was the number one, and now I wonder just if Mac was more similar than any of the other young guys, and if there's like a fun thing for you in that, sort of knowing you're back on the ground floor, having done what you did with Tom. to kind of be back at the kind of the start of that equation.
Yeah. Well, again, they're all different. When we had to, start the season with Jimmy and then Jacoby, and then Jacoby ended up, of course, having to play. That was just, a little bit of the same thing, not quite the same, but, we didn't know exactly how that was going to go at the beginning of the year. And then Tom came back, and that was easy at that point. But the first, 4 games, we had to, be ready with, with 2 young quarterbacks. So, yeah, I think you learn from all those experiences, sure. But they're all different. But you certainly take something from them. I mean, I learn things every day. So.
And last question, Evan Lazar.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to ask you about the 3rd and 7 play on New Orleans' final drive there, and just if there was any sort of conversation about maybe blitzing some extra rushers on that play, and just kind of what you saw in the play in general as well.
Which play was that again, Evan?
There's about 8:22 left in the fourth quarter. It's 3rd and 7 for New Orleans. From about their 28-yard line.
Yeah. Yeah, well, they had, New Orleans had mixed in some, in 3rd down, they'd mixed in some protection. We pressured the first 3rd down of the second drive. And they protected that and picked it up and ended up hitting, I think it was Callaway on the sideline on 3rd and 9 or 3rd and 10, something like that. So that's something that we had done earlier that they handled pretty well. They were in a protection situation. Sean does a pretty good job mixing that up. So and I wasn't that excited about running that again. That didn't go very well the first time.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you.